Hello, I am Densiska Elivia Sedin, a student of Early Childhood Education from Kuningau Vocational College, and today I will be present my final year research and innovation project, which was known as That and Will, which I now have renamed as Wheel of Life. For the introduction, this research project introduced and examined a teaching aid developed for the purpose of teaching aid preschool students on the basic names and characteristics of animals. Next, problem statement. Based on my observation, there were few issues that teachers at preschools had to deal with. The first one, there was a lack of variety of teaching materials that were available in the most preschools. Limited variety of interesting teaching aids will cause children to be less interested in learning. They become less focused in class and pay less attention to what teachers are teaching them about. In addition, the children will do their own things in class or end up disturbing their friends. Second, if available teaching materials are not used effectively, it will not create an effective learning for children. The use of teaching aids that children find less appealing tends to affect the learning environment in the classroom. Most of the time, the children will not understand what the teachers are trying to teach as they become distracted or completely disengaged during the teaching process. Next is objectives. There were two main objectives of this research project. The first one was to introduce That and Will or Wheel of Life as a teaching aid in preschool classes. The second objective was to examine the potential use of That and Will in improving children's level of engagement. Rationale of project. There were few reasons why I decided to do this project. My purpose was to assist teachers in kindergartens, diversifying their teaching strategies by using more interesting teaching aids. I hope teachers will be more inspired to try out many teaching aids so that they themselves can generate creative ideas in preparing materials for their lessons. Second, the other reason was to create an effective learning environment with this That and Will, which is now known as Wheel of Life. This material was designed to create an effective and engaging learning experience for children so that they can apply their knowledge in life. Scope of project. As I developed this project, I realized that I needed to narrow my scope. The focus of this study was to help preschool children learn about the life cycle of animals with an effective teaching technique in an engaging learning environment. However, I faced few challenges in getting this project done the way I envisioned it. The first one was time constraint. I faced time constraint in completing this project because as a student, I also tied to other tasks that need to be completed and I had to prepare for my exams too. Furthermore, with the ongoing pandemic of COVID-19, we were still under a partial lockdown where traveling or conducting activities were not as easy as they used to be, and the children at preschools had tight and strict schedules as well as rules that before due to the necessary precautions needed to be taken in protecting them from this virus. I had to admit that I did not have enough experience in conducting a research project. Next, project literature. There are several teaching materials that preschool teachers usually use in their class. These are Flashcards. For example, a teacher shows the kids pictures of animals, fruits, objects, or anything related to the topic that is being taught. Second, concrete objects. A teacher may bring easy to carry objects to his or her class and show this object to the children to get them to think and talk. Next, toys. Some of the popular educational toys are Lego, puzzle, soft toys, dolls, and toy cars that teachers normally use in their class. Boards such as road safety board and safety board in classroom. Next, charts. Teachers can use charts in many ways to teach children a variety of learning topics. Lastly, electronic devices. Electronic devices such as ICT also can be used in the classroom to train children on how to use technology properly. Next is strategies in reducing children's screen time. First one is getting kids to do other activities. These strategies were adapted from Montessori approach, and there are 5 main strategies, which are getting physical, encourage independent play, get them started and back away, implement a routine, and prepare the environment. The second one, encourage them to engage in independent activities that they can do without their parents. This will help children to be proficient in solving the problem they face, especially in learning. Next, to implement a timetable for children to adhere to. With timetable, the time allocation for each activity that the children can or should do will be more organized and balanced. Therefore, they will have adequate time to play and learn. Lastly, assist children in doing an activity before they can finally do it their own. This will train the children to be independent without relying too much on their teachers. Next, methodology. There were 7 children and a teacher who became the respondents for this study. Due to the new normal condition related to how many children can be involved in doing an activity, as well as the limited number of children who were allowed by their parents to go to kindergartens, there were only 7 children whom I managed to have in my research. Second, the instruments were observation, checklist, and interview. I refer to some questions that I have developed prior to this research to interview the teacher, and I had a checklist that I used in my observation on the children's reactions and responses while playing the game. The teachers respond to the interview. The teacher gave positive feedback on the teaching aid. The teacher explained how the students were working together in getting the correct answer for each question while offering them a level of healthy competition that encouraged them to think harder. The teacher also highlighted the level of motivation that the children exhibit during the task, as they appeared enthusiastic and engaged in taking their turns to throw the dart and answer the question that they received. Subjects of observed behaviors. As you can see from the checklist, the students exhibit positive reaction to each item. The responses from the observation behavior suggested that the children express enthusiasm in taking part in the activity while displaying collaboration, accuracy in answer, and adequate understanding of the topic that was being taught to them. This implied that this teaching aid was effective in enabling them understand the subject matter through active participation in the learning activities. In conclusion, that and will might have potential to be introduced to other preschools and tutorials on how to utilize this teaching aid in preschool lessons might help teachers in understanding this technique. Lastly, teaching aid should be studied further in order to make it more feasible to be carried out in any classroom environment. Thank you for lending me your ear.